and welcome to my... Did I put construction time? I think I put inspection time. Yes, this is the first episode of my series where I will be going into each roller coaster and telling you what we might see in the upcoming years for each park. So today, presuming it's Vampire's birthday, it's 33. It is 33. It opened, I think it was April the 11th, 1981. I've probably got that wrong, but 33 years ago. Hang on, 220. Hang on, I'm thinking of this now. Thinking 19. It's got to be 1990. April the 11th, 1990, when the Vampire opens. Yo, how are we doing? We are actually doing quite well. Actually, this is my first episode of my series. To do with inspecting different roller coasters and what we may see in the upcoming future of them. So there is a lot to talk about, but today one about Vampire. I might do another one about Oblivion because that is something that's cropped up around everywhere. But yeah, so 33 years, it's probably the oldest coaster that Merlin has operating at the moment. I can't think of any other coaster that is operating. Yes, it's speculation time, exactly. I can't think of any other coaster that exceeds 33 years in a Merlin park in the UK. Now, what we do know is it is a Vekoma coaster. I think it is. It's a Vekoma coaster. It doesn't invert, and it's based in the Dark Woods, where Gruffalo is, but used to be Bubble Works, and then Imperial Leathers Bubble Works, and back to Bubble Works. And ever since then, everything's been changed for it throughout the whole year. So when it first opened, it was just known as the Vampire. It still is known as the Vampire. When you go to the station, there's normally like an animatronics bit where like this old priest or guy is like playing the piano, and the animatronics used to move the hands and like actually look like he's playing the piano. The organs were amazing. It was like he was playing the organs of the... organs of the organ. There you go. It was really well themed. The lighting in there was amazing. It was pink, vibrant. Seems like I'm going to a spectacles. No, it was like vibrant pink, intense. It was really good. It had some green in there to keep that dark effect. And what we see is that the ride goes around the woods, and then it goes. So you enter the first lift hill, and then it goes around. Yes, I really want to see his face. He's probably that guy from like Daft Punk. Like the animatronics guy is probably that guy from Daft Punk when he takes off his bunch of circuits. I would love to see that animatronics face. Yeah, I do agree. So it goes up the first lift hill after the station, and then it does some turns, twists, and then it goes through. It stops and it goes to another lift hill. Now it's the only coaster in. It's the only coaster in Chessington which has two lift hills. Now Jumanji World doesn't have a lift hill, of course, because it's Mandral's Mayhem's going to be a winged coaster, what do they call it? Reversed wing coaster, a shuttle coaster, a shuttle winged coaster. So yeah, and it's so iconic. Like the track above, so you're hanging down below. Now, what the cars used to be is not what they are now. The cars used to be. It's launch time, exactly. So the cars used to have a place where the track's above you, but then you also had feet, like your feet can just rest on the bottom, so your feet aren't hanging down. It was like cars like that. And then what happened in 2000, I think it was like 2009 or something like that, they replaced these cars with a new manufacturer, Vekoma, and what they did is they made it so it's like you're actually swinging through the woods and you're on a suspensed coaster, should I say, where like the track's above you, but like your feet are dangling down, just like Nemesis Inferno and Nemesis itself. So that's quite cool. So yeah, moving on through years. So from 1990, yes, I'm glad the bottoms have gone too, because you get that more intense feeling, and like it really does feel like your feet are crushing against the rocks. You know. John Wardy quote. No, I'm not adding on today, Rosie. Sorry. So yeah, and they try to keep up to date with Nemesis Inferno and Nemesis itself with the two suspense. In every single Merlin park I know, apart from Legoland, has a suspended coaster, which is really good. Now, the fact that they actually kept up to date with that was quite good. So a few years later, it got a bit old, and the animatronics inside them. Yes, the animatronics with no face apparently, or it's got some sort of face, but don't know. We are yet to know. He stopped working. Like he didn't. He no longer moved his hands apparently. So what they did is they found this out and they went, okay, let's change this up. So they closed the ride for, I think it was over winter, not this winter. I think it was like quite a few years ago. They closed it for winter maintenance, and then they came back with a new animatronics guy who actually played the organ correctly, which was amazing. I have to tell you, amazing. And there was a lot more lighting in there as well. It had that green pink effect, but it also had that yellow, and it was just, the music changed to it. The queuing line also had a revamp to it. Now, the area of Vampire itself in Darkwood, it's like just like the Curse of Autumn Manor, and how the gravestones have got old signature rides on it. We also have that. We also have that sort of theming. It is the first to have it actually. You actually no. The gravestones have embroidered old signature rides. For example, Bubbleworks. We have Dennis the Menace for Beano Town, which used to be there, which is now called Wild Asia. Hello, Theme Park AM. I'm going to call him Theme Park AM now. Theme Park just doesn't sound right. How are you doing? This is the vampire talk about inspection. Now, I haven't talked anything about the future of Vampire, but I will come to that in a minute. So, on about the area, we do have the gravestones. I think it is throughout the theme park camp. Oh, right, yeah. That's good. I like that. That's good. So basically around the area, I think it's in the queuing line, or I think it's around the area of Darkwood, you could see these gravestones. Now these gravestones are a form, like they have signature eyes on them, Bubbleworks, with Professor Burp. We have Dennis the Menace with Beano Town. Beano Town is now replaced with Wild Asia, and Cobra was never there, and now it is, which is quite good. I don't know what other eyes you have. I can't think. But yeah, there were many gravestones around the ride. Now that aspect then got copied and it got put onto it. Kind of emerged, should I say, with the Curse of Autumn, and I think they found out that their theming on the vampire and the Curse of Autumn could go together with the queuing line. I'm going to Chessington Sunday. Yeah, now I've heard Chessington has really bad issues with their queuing at the moment. They've also been penalised for their disabled fast track passes, which. Anyways, what's your best ride at Chessington? I can't wait for Mandrill Mayhem. Also, what are your thoughts on Mandrill Mayhem? Do you think it will work out? Do you think it will not have issues? I mean, you can't say a coaster doesn't have issues, but do you think it will be a success for the park? What park? Oh yeah, I think it'll work. I mean, Mandrill Mayhem with Jumanji World, I do think it looks good. It's like the green, it's like the vines of the winged coaster. Yeah, presuming it's like, I think it's like the second winged coaster in the UK and the only winged coaster that actually like transverses, so it goes up and down, like forward and backwards around the mandrel itself. I think that's quite good. It's just that the station looks a bit iffy. I wouldn't say the top of the station's very good because it's like greenery and it's not very blended in well. It just looks like a tin can. Like Theme Park Worldwide also said it, and I've said this many times, it looks like a tin can. I think it will work out, hopefully. There's just some aspects to it. Yeah, Rosie, I'm not letting anyone join now. I think. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Vampire. Now, the Vampire and what we can see coming up for its years. Now, presuming it's the only coaster I can recall which is like exceeds 33 years. Not even Nemesis exceeds 33 years. It's just about to come up to its 30th in 2025. We could see either Vampire getting retracked at one point. But I would say it's a bit too close because they have recently only closed it because they realised that the animatronic with no face, yeah, it doesn't work anymore. And I say that's a bit. So I say it's a bit too short for them to close it yet. They've only just revamped the tracks itself for Vampire, and especially with the only coaster, like major coaster in, well, the only major family coaster in Chessington itself, I would say it would be a bit too close for them to close it. But I think when Mandrill Mayhem comes along, and it may see a rise in audience and popularity there, once it exceeds like what they want to be at the park rating, then I could see Vampire getting closed and it getting revamped, because if they close one park, if they close one park, no, one park, what am I saying, one park? If they close one roller coaster and open a new one, which is way more of a success, presuming it would be because it's a new roller coaster and more people are known to it because it's been advertised on social media, whereas with the Vampire it's not, and it's not advertised correctly. Like you can find minimum information about the Vampire and how it was advertised, because it was only on TV and there was no recordings back then. Internet wasn't a thing. So presuming that Jumanji, and they had this like level thing, like you get to win something. Jumanji's more known to people nowadays, and there's more information about it. You can see the construction, people get interested in it. That's what I would say is a good success for a park. For example, like Chessington has done. Alton Towers lacks that a bit. They did it with SW8, I know, when they had the fences up around the old fume area, and then it was like not until later on where they actually got the pillars down, the track was down, you can actually see through the wooden fence, which was quite good. They would put up like a board. Don't know if they did that with any other thing. I know they're doing that with Nemesis too. Vampire train stalled after the tunnel because maintenance screwed the wheels on tight. What I heard, that's why it was so close. Yes, so there was also that. So yeah, the maintenance team weren't the best the year it closed, and it really did cause some problems for the ride itself because it was stuck there for quite a while. And getting one track off, getting one wheel off a track like is just it's frustrating. I haven't been there myself. I haven't been there myself. Like I haven't done it myself, but I know what it's like. If you like close a cap on a bottle, for example, really really tightly, it's really hard to get off. That is how it is on a train. We're on a track with a wheel tighted really really tightly, but 10 times worse. So yeah, but like the aspect of vampire getting. Is it possible to block Rose? I think I can. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. It says she's gone. It says she's gone, so I don't know. Yeah, she's gone. I think. Yeah. So the aspect of what was I saying now? Oh yeah. So for them to close Vampire, it would be a bit too soon after they've revamped it. But it will be perfect when Jumanji World finally settles in and they change the stuff that they need to change, because we know with the Curse of Manor and Trestatron they need stuff changed. They have done stuff in Curse of Manor or Alton Towers itself. For example, new features have been added since our last time. Well, since opening day actually, because when I was opening day there was too much to look at. That's what is meant to get you to think. Like at Curse of Manor, there's too much to look at inside, because it makes you want to go on again and again and again. Hence why the cars kept going in over and over again, because they know it's going to be a really high capacity, meaning they need to get through as much people as possible, meaning queues are low and that ride gets more audience audacity. That's probably not even a word, but yeah. But with Mandrill Mayhem, it is quite hard for them to get that track perfect, and they can't have two cars on at once. Because if they did, you'll get one car going this way, and you just get momentum in the middle, and oh my god, they'll push back. That will be the only problem with Jumanji World, is the queues. Now, presuming it's just one long track, and it can't have another car on it, is there a possibility that there will be... Yeah, I do agree. The queuing line is quite quick. Oh, how was Adventure Island? I haven't been to Adventure Island, but I've heard it's really, really good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the only problem at Chessington would be if they close. I don't think they'll close the Vampire, but that's me being expecting. If they do close the Vampire, they have some really serious issues, because Vampire you can have two tracks on because it's a loop track. It's like a circuit track, whereas Jumanji World you'll be getting like 400-minute queues because it literally has one track and it can only have one car on one track. Unless they do something where they can split the track in the station, so one gets pulled apart whilst the other one comes back into the station, but that's probably not going to happen. I really hope they don't close Vampire, because if they do, the queuing, because they can just about manage with the queues at the moment, like 120 minutes of Vampire constantly. I have never seen it gone down in my life. It is completely 120 minutes. When I went last year, oh my god, it was like Scarefest. It was like that Halloween, and oh my god, it just frustrated me because 120 minutes, we didn't even get to go in the vampire, it was that packed. The queue was out the door, and the longest queue in the, like, out of all the rides, it's the longest queue. Theme Park Running says, Vampires is amazing and the soundtrack is really good. And also the queue line, the theming is good as well. Theme Park Solo one says, Dragon's Fury has such a long queue usually. Yes, Dragon's Fury, I forgot about it. sorry. Yes, Dragon Fury is just way too long too. But if Vampire's closed, Dragon Fury is the next target because the Rattlesnake won't be open either. Because if one's closed, the other's not going to be open. Yeah, the queues are way too long. Trust me. What did you say about Adventureland? Theme Park Trading says it was amazing, except some rides are closed still for maintenance, and the weather was quite bad. Yeah, no, the weather, when, like, you can't go to a theme park on a really bad day. I mean, you can, it puts people off from going, but then it puts off the rides and the ride availability. Because if one, like, for example, look at 13, look what happened to that. They had to change each tyre, so that when it went up that lift hill in the rain, that tyre lift hill, it didn't slip back because there was an incident which happened. It wasn't an incident, but one of the trains skidded back because the tyres were so wet that it couldn't pull it up. There wasn't enough grip. So yeah, if one little drop of rain or the wind literally picks up, the rides are closed, and it's just annoying sometimes. Hence why indoor rides are really good, but the expense on indoor rides and getting the central heating and everything it's just too much money, and the park can't pay for that. Like, they could just about afford the Smiler Crash, and they had to close rides for that as well. I do like Merlin's rainy day guarantee. Yes, so Merlin's rainy day guarantee. Now, if people don't know what it is, it's the fact that if it rains for at least an hour at one of the Merlin parks, like Merlin theme parks, which are not indoors, for example, Warwick Castle also does it. It's not a theme park, but I know it does it because it's mostly based outdoors. You get to come back for free another day, because if it rains for an hour, then an hour is normally enough rain for enough rides to be closed. And many people complained when they didn't have this rainy day guarantee thing. So it is really good that they put it in, because it lets you go back again. But if it clears up, then there's no proof of you saying you didn't go on any, like, you went on loads of rides. You could say you went on none, and then you come back, which is really good. Obviously, it doesn't make a difference to Merlin annual pass holders, but good for paying people for one time. Yes, I do agree. It shows that they're loyal to their customers, because if you go and buy something, for example, it's £22. If you go and buy something, then of course you want to get your money's worth. Pass holders, yeah, there's a limitation now. I know 2 days ago, pass holders weren't allowed in, and they, like, for example, I wasn't allowed in. I wasn't there because I was at Blackpool, Great Yarmouth. But if I was going to go, I wasn't allowed in because I think it was Travellers' Day, where travellers come in, and I think it's their way of bringing money that they owe to the government. I don't know. Don't stick me on that. But yeah, it was quite bad because I think they lost a lot of profit from that, and they would have lost more money for the amount of people that didn't enter that park. No, they would have lost more money from keeping rides on that weren't being used than actually letting people in the park and actually being on rides. Because, in all fairness, why would you have a park with no people in it apart from, like, a certain type of people? Wow, just any particular group, and then go and, yeah, it's just one of those. It's just, obviously it doesn't make a difference. Oh wait, it was that. Okay, so I'm gonna answer questions from Theme Park Friendly. Now, what do you think will happen to Vampire in the future? Oh. I really do think that Vampire in the future will have its ups and downs. It will be definitely retracked. I can tell you for a fact. There will be. You can't keep a ride open for 33 years. You can just about do it with Nemesis, and we always thought Nemesis was going to stay there forever. Apparently not. But somehow it's got that lift hill. That lift hill is still there. Like, what? Huh? It says that basically they're just like they're not retracking. Well, they're retracking it, but they're just adding a new paint to it, keeping the old theming, new tracks, just the same tracks, new tracks, same same cars, which is quite good. But yeah, I think Vampire will close and it will get demolished for a new ride, unfortunately, because I don't think it doesn't make sense to me that I don't know. Something will have to. You know what? No, I think what will go before that. So Vampire will go. I think Vampire will go, but before that, I think that Tiger Rock. Sorry, it has to be Tiger Rock. I don't think they have enough money to chlorinate the waters of Tiger Rock because by law they have to put chlorine in the waters. Now, there are 2 water rides in Chessington. Actually, no, there isn't. There's more water rides in Chessington, but oh well, there's 2 major water rides. Hello, theme park camp. Sorry, I didn't see you. So there are 2 major water parks, and that is the Gruffalo, which is indoors, and we have hello theme park camp. Sorry, I didn't see. And then we have Tiger Rock. Now Tiger Rock's outside, meaning more stuff can be damaged to that, damage to the water itself. Leaves can get into the water. It takes so much money just to heat that pool. Not heat it. Why am I saying pool? To heat the chlorine. No, to put chlorine in the water and to get the pumps and operating and making those. Like the amount of energy they use just to pump around that thing. Now it gets a lot of attention because it's probably alongside Legoland and Thorpe Park. It's probably the only one that is proper traditional. Actually, no, Legoland and Chessington is probably the only traditional log flumes left in the Merlin business, like in the UK. Changing the subject. What? What? Okay. So I think I do wish that they did something. Oh wait, hang on. Theme Park Solo Man said, I do wish that they did something for the park holders, like a free piece of merchandise or something like that, because pass holders don't get anything if it rains. Yeah, no, you are correct though. Like, you have to keep booking, and if you book a day it's going to rain, then I get it doesn't affect us, but yet again it does because it wastes a day. Whereas I think they can open the park longer, and then that way, if there will be a point in the day, unless it rains the whole day, there will be a point in the day where. Actually, what did you say? But yeah, no, I think the award should be like opening the park longer for us, because then that means that we get our money's worth, because and then it also means that the rain might stop later and then more rides might be open. Because I don't have to test the rides during night, we only test them during day. Controversial one. Nemesis or Nemesis? So, Theme Park Solomon put controversial one. Nemesis or Nemesis Inferno? Sorry, didn't add to it. It's fine. I'll answer that in a minute. Theme Park Training put, I know they put chlorine in Gruffalo, as you can smell when you go on it, but I didn't know about Tiger Rock. Yeah, by law they have to put chlorine in all their waters now, like theme park waters, because that under health and safety reasons. Just like you need to put ingredients on a recipe, the recipe ingredients on food. It's so then if you are allergic to chlorine, because people are out there. I have a friend who's allergic to sunlight. Don't question. And that's it's just quite because then you can cause someone's death basically, and then that's just right. Going back to theme park, Solomon's question. You've got a tricky question, but I have to say Nemesis because I've never actually been on Nemesis Inferno. I've said that now. Yeah, that is very controversial, but it's controversial and that's very biased of me. Yeah, so they're allergic to sunlight. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but they have to like always wrap up, even if it's the boiling. Like they get rashes on their skin, and they're just allergic to it. Hence why in some schools they normally have sunlight things on the doors, meaning the windows are next to the sun, or they have windows in them, which like normally is direct to sunlight. I know they normally have that. It's got UV on it, but I think I'm allergic to UV rays. So yeah, I've never actually been in Nemesis Inferno, so that is very biased of me. I'll be honest. I'm other way around. Nemesis Inferno because I have rode them. I haven't. I rode Nemesis twice last year. It was amazing. I rode it like it was just amazing. Actually, no, I rode Nemesis 3 times. I rode it in the dark too, and in the dark, my brother was like, my brother literally just went, don't want to see, don't want to see. And I was just there with my hands up. My dad next to me was amazing, but I would have to say Nemesis. Nemesis Inferno does look good, but until I experience it, then I can't say much about it. So it's not me being biased, even though that probably is a very biased thing for me to say. I have to stick with Nemesis for now because, you know, actually I shouldn't vote, but you know, I go for both. Let's just say that. But yeah, no, the red track on Nemesis looks really good. Now people do have suspicions that the red track on Nemesis, no, the red track on Nemesis Inferno looks really good, but saying that, people are saying that Nemesis V-track would be red and black? Oh no, black track, red supports. Has anyone actually questioned this? Nemesis is red track, black supports, and Nemesis Inferno is red track, black supports, and Nemesis itself is going to be black and red. Now that could be because the storyline just goes on, but it had nothing to do with the Phalanx, so I don't get it. Theme Park Solomon says, yeah, I really want to answer the question, but because I haven't rode Nemesis, so I have to say Nemesis Inferno. Okay, take it from me, Nemesis better. Actually, no, I can't. That is a controversial one until we go on both of them. So until I go in Nemesis Inferno and you go in Nemesis, you know. Do you think the logo will change on Nemesis? Speculation time. Ooh. Actually, yes. Firstly, the Nemesis logo itself is red. Now, I've got a feeling that, yes, in speculation time, I have a feeling that the only thing about that red is because not only the creature was red itself and white, also the waterfall, which was like before that loop, that inverted loop, where you just come back. I think it's from a hatchback. I have no clue what the loops are. Let's just say it's a hatchback or some sort of like, yeah. When you go down and when John Worley says, "Oh yes, it feels like my feet are literally touching the rocks," or whatever he says, there is a waterfall just below, just before you go up to that loop. I think you have it on. Hang on, no, you don't have it on your thing. And it's meant to be red waterfall. Now, over the years, that red waterfall has died out. It's no longer red. It's meant to be like blood, but it's not blood, which is one of them things. But I think the Nemesis logo will change. It is very speculated from me, of course, but Nemesis Inferno's logo has to change, presuming that the feet are gonna, yes, the feet are gonna bash against the walls. Oh god, that thing. Just John Wardley, like Jesus Christ. Actually, I do pay respect to that guy though. He did make an effort, and John Burton did. Why are all these theme park guys named John? Like, what is it with John? But what we can see is John Wardley is on his last legs, I think. That's a bit too much in speculating, but he's had a good run, I think. I think he really has bashed his legs across the wall. Oh my god. That was good. Oh my god. That was good. Oh, now we could do another in speculation. Oh, okay. So, Theme Park Thrilling asked opinions on the Vampire soundtrack and queue line. Now, the queue line. Now, I have to change that queue line. There's a bit at the start. So, I was stuck in. So, when I went last year, it was my first time I went. Well, it wasn't the first time I ever went, but first time last year I went. And the last. Oh my god, that queue line. If it's a queue so long, for example, 120 minutes, that queue is out the door. The queue just needs to be changed altogether. I have to tell you. There has to be a lot more theming in the queue. Now, the soundtrack itself, it has nothing to do with the Chessington soundtrack. Now, I don't get why that is, but it's a really sincere and a sincere, dark mood, horror. It's got that gloomy effect. It's got that dark effect. Oh god, keep going. So yeah, it's quite good. I like the tune to it, but just the queue line. Right, so Theme Park Solomon put, do you reckon if the logo will change, the merchandise of Nemesis with the old logo will become pricey? Speculation time. I don't think straight away. So if it does change, for example, so if the logo does change for Nemesis, then we could see the prices of the original Nemesis logo going up, but I don't think that'll be straight away. Even though it's been closed for 2 years, I think it will be going up like next when it reopens, basically. But I don't know. It varies how much people price them. It varies how much people adhere to them. But yet again, I don't think people will be selling them, and if they do, they're trying to make a lot of profit. I don't thank them for it. Let's just say that, because they just did it for money. Like they buy something and then they sell it like more expensive than what it was. How do you get more followers? I don't know. I'll show you out later, but I don't know. The organist in the station of the vampire is amazing and interesting. That's what Theme Park Thrilling says. Yes. But still, I still need to speculate. Has he got a face? That was Theme Park Solomon's question. But yeah, the organist is amazing when he actually worked. But he still works now because it got revamped. The animatronics is probably... Actually, no. Toon Blaster, I forgot about that. Toon Blaster used to be like space something and used to have its own animatronics alongside Bubbleworks. The only animatronics I can see now is literally the organist in the vampire. Now that's speculation time, yes. So keeping that animatronic there really does keep the theme, especially he's playing the vampire tune and like it's playing it all right. For example, for higher notes, when the higher notes are up there, he's literally going up here, and then when the lower notes, it's going down here, which is quite good. I don't know if that's changed because I haven't actually been in the queue line or the station for like 7 years, and I'm 15. when I was 8. I even have a pin badge for like when Oblivion was 20 years old. I'm like, that's 5 years ago. No, I'm not. 5 years ago, I was at Alton Towers, and last time we had our Merlin passes, and now we've gotten back last year, and the smell in the station is so strong. Yes, the smell is so strong in the station. I think that's because of the smoke effects, but it adheres to that old dust. Like, there's definitely dust in that place, especially the roofs. I know that I was allergic to it at the time, and when I went in it, my nose started stiffening. It was real bad. But the smell of it, yeah, it's very intense and strong. I can't stop myself. That joke is good. Oh god, that joke. At Theme Park Phoenix, yes, it is. No, I won't work at Alton Towers, but I'll stay as a theme park enthusiast as long as I can. Actually, I will stay as I can. Yes, it is something. It's so strong. It doesn't smell good anymore. No, it doesn't. Unfortunately. I really wish, in fact, that every time he played the organ, like that, there was steam coming up, because you got the organ pieces at the top. But you don't actually know he's playing it until you actually see him move. And if it was a really dark ride, then I would either love that before, because you go under him as you go to the station. Well, I think it's like that, but no, you definitely go that way. Yeah, like some sort of steam would be good, and more visual to know that that animatronic is moving. But yet again, I think that they've pulled away from having animatronics in the park, and they are they're trying to like put less attention to him. But I think it's really iconic for him to just stay, because if he stays in that park in that chair, then people will know what's going on, and you know that it's to do with some sort of horror thing. Even though you got the queue line and all, but that queue line definitely needs to be redone. You can see the vampire go above, especially in dark. It's amazing. I love the visuals and the lighting as well. Theme Park Solo Man asks, Solo Man, you're Solo Man now. If you could take vampire out, what would you replace it with? Well, if you remove a family coaster, then you will have to replace it with a family coaster. Now, this can't be Gerstlauer. Actually, could be Gerstlauer. Could it be Gerstlauer? I think a Gerstlauer. That's a very tricky one, because it could be like some sort of theming, like it could be an Intamin coaster. An Intamin drop-down coaster, just like 13, 10 times better though, because you've got the theme of the woods, and it's a very big area as well. Meaning it'll be 10 times longer, which is quite good. So yeah, I think that I don't think this Gerstlauer will spank family coaster. No, I don't think Gerstlauer does. Intamin, I think either Intamin drop-down coaster, yes, just like 13. I think 13 does Intamin, but without with this time with a proper chain lift hill, so when it does rain, it doesn't fall back, and it doesn't have to be that high, because like I said, they have to be tree height. So if they're at least tree height, then they won't have wind issues because trees are protecting them, meaning the coaster itself will remain open the entire time, and with the trees around it, you don't have to knock down any trees, because you had the original like track of the what was it, vampire. The whole point of this video is about vampire. So yeah, you have the original thing about the vampire, which is quite good. So yeah, I think keep it quite high up. If you keep it quite high up, I think, just like the vampire, then they won't have an issue with tracking and taking out, like being uneco-friendly and taking out the woods and replacing it with like tombs. And I think when like the vampire has that second lift deal, I think they could put the tomb in there so it drops down and then it can carry on and like go in front of the vampire's kitchen and then come back round. That would be very good. I would love to see that in the park at Chessington. Either that or I think a spinning coaster. No, they've already got one of them, so probably not that. Theme Park Solomon, massive question. Shut down Alton Towers or shut down Thorpe Park? Shut down Thorpe Park. Sorry, like, what's happened to Ghost Train? We've heard once, and that's it. Nothing else. It's been dead. I've heard nothing of it since. So, their advertisement of Thorpe Park's rubbish. It doesn't keep you informed, it doesn't keep you aware. It's like you barely know it's there until someone mentions it. Yes, I know it's known for fastest roller coaster. No, yeah, fastest roller coaster in the UK. Second tallest. It's getting the tallest roller coaster, and it's like a world record for like the highest inversion in the world. I think it is. That's Project Exodus, made by Mack Rides. Oh, I had to think then. Mack Rides coaster. 234, I think it is. 234 feet up, or 234 meters. Yeah, probably 234 feet up from the air. I think that's from sea level. As you know, it's from land level. Sorry. Yes. And then when you go to Alton Towers, you have like Wicker Man, which is like record breaker for the most intense roller coaster in the UK, and it also is the first roller coaster in 10 years to be built. And then you have 14 looping roller coaster, which hasn't been beat for like literally 10 years, which I think is amazing. But yet again, people aren't tempted to make another 14 loop or exceed that, because if they do, yes, the first horror themed coaster, the Saw, it wasn't the best, but it is still good. I haven't been in it, but it doesn't look good. I haven't been in it. Why am I judging it? Yes, fire and wood, pyro techniques, yes. And it also has a pre-show. It was the first ride that Merlin's made with a pre-show. Sounds quite good. And then you have Spinball Whizzer, which is the only make of its kind. First vertical drop, nearly vertical drop at 98.9 degrees, which is Oblivion. And then you have first drop-down coaster from Intamin, which is 13, and then you have Rita, which was never planned. You got Nemesis, Galactica, the first ever flying coaster, Nemesis, which is no longer there, but it's like the first inverted coaster to feature a inversion. Geez, I'm going forever. What the hell? Yeah, there's nothing much. So yeah, there's nothing much, to be fair. What the time is? Time's 9:15. I better be going. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. I will tag you in the post. That was Theme Park Solomon and Theme Park Thrilling, if it's still here. I think it's still here. No, it's gone. Okay, and thank you for joining me on the vampire's 33rd birthday. I will be doing these in my series, and I probably know who's going to watch at the end of this video. It's like 44 minutes long. 48. Anyways, yes, until next time. Bye. It'll be probably tomorrow or next day. It will definitely be someone's birthday. Yes, I have checked it out. I'm getting my phone. I just don't get how to do the password thing, but message me about that. Wait, I've got a question. No, okay. Right. Have a great day, guys. Okay. Right. Thank you. Bye.